right, this is a wine story with a twist, making wine from grapes that were actually grown during biblical times, which is extraordinarily cool. And the evidence of winemaking in the land of milk and honey going back 8,000 years. And joining us is Shira Greneau, wine tourism guide, connoisseur, owner of the wine side, amongst many other things, and a nice girlfriend to have a few sips with on Friday. But, you know, you always bring good stuff. But, like, when I saw this story, I was like, how bloody cool.
Yes. Well, I have to ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you know who was the first drunk to be ever recorded in history?
The first drunk, like alcoholic?
Like first one to get drunk.
Or the first one to get drunk?
Yeah.
Avram?
Noah, from Noah's Ark.
That makes sense.
And he was a wine grower also, so he had many vines. He actually made wine, and he was the first to be recorded in history to be drunk.
And you know, it's so funny because I love this stuff and all these biblical characters, and like you go down the Dead Sea in Sodom and Gomorrah, and it's like, you know, you hear like what was the real story is that they had nothing but time on their hand, and they were all just drinking
and having fun.
Right. I mean, what else was there to do? And stargaze and look at the cosmos, right?
Exactly. So the biblical times and the stories, Game of Thrones got nothing on it.
Right.
If you think about it, in the history of the Judaism, so the most important room in the temple and the most expensive one was the wine drinking room. It was actually a very, very, very important part of the ceremony. So wine drinking was taken very seriously, and actually during the biblical times, people were drinking much more than we do today, which is quite sad. I mean, they were more happy, I think.
Well, that's why they were like having all this sexual perversity that you hear about in every story, like from Rahab to
Lot and everybody.
All of them.
They were having a
Lot's
good time.
daughters. I'm like, what? Lot's daughters? Not with him. Okay, so all right, first start pouring. So these grapes, like, how did they identify? You know, and trace these grapes back.
So what happens is that we discovered thousands of findings of winemaking in Israel and wineries. So we found the seeds, the chalked seeds, and they were studied in DNA in universities. So we discovered that DNA had no brother and sister, no siblings anywhere in the world. You know, the Cabernet, the Merlot, they all come from France. But these grapes, they're really from here. The real, authentic, Israeli wine.
So
amazing.
I mean, I could go on and on when it's talking about.
So this we're going to start with the Dabuki,
which
is a kind of grape. This is a winery.
So how is it that they, by the way, explain that like it didn't continue with the industry, like it was kind of dormant all these years?
Because we had many regimes here, and during the Muslim times, all vines were torn apart and neglected because they don't drink wine. So we didn't have continuity.
Pillaged.
And the Romans came and they brought with them their vines. So, you know, it's tough.
And their baths. They probably got rid of vineyards to build more baths for themselves.
Exactly. So this one is Feldstein Winery.
Wow.
Avi Feldstein, the winemaker, is one of the most important winemakers in Israel. He consulted to, I think, every winery in Israel. This is a pure Dabuki, very special one, nothing like it. This one is the Marawi from the Rekanati winery. Also very, very, very interesting story. This wine grower is Palestinian, and he grows them silently as they were for eating grapes and gives them to the winery. It's really like an action kind of story.
That's great. So I want to bring a camera and go to these places.
Yes, this is really a coexistence kind of story. This one, Cremizan Winery. Amazing. This is a monastery. An Italian winemaker discovered this monastery that have been making wine for ages and ages and decided to open the winery together with an Israeli and an Arab Israeli, and they make it together, researching the grapes, Hamdani and Jandali.
Well, look how much wine was going on at the time of early Christianity and the time of, you know, Jesus, and even the, I mean, wine is part of the heart of religion and spirituality.
It's true.
It's so fascinating. So, like, we're drinking wines that, like, Ruth drank,
8,000 years ago from the biblical times. I mean, this is history in the making. I'm always talking to you about terroir, about the land.
It's good, and I'm not I don't have a great palate for alcohol or wine. Like, I have, like, I don't know, like, but it's good. It's very smooth and very pure.
Very smooth. Alcohol levels are very low. Really fits the Israeli summer. I mean, these wines are Israeli, asli Israeli, you know? So it really reflects the terroir, the land, and the people. So this is really an amazing story.
How do we help them market this more? I mean, this is a great, like, you could promote anywhere in the world, like wine dating back to the Bible.
And Genesis Robbins gave this wine. She's a very famous wine critic in England, a really high score point. He won second white wine in Israel. And the Marawi from Rekanati, which is an amazing story, a big winery with a lot of, they have guts, you know? They're bold. They're doing stuff that are not very in the between the categories of Merlot, Cabernet. They do everything. They have the power to do it and the boldness to do it. Also, Avi Feldstein, he's insane. He really uses the local wine. He wants to get to know Israel through the wines and not, only the grapes from around the world. So this is a reflection of us, and it's
Totally.
and you see also the stories. It's Israeli with Arab working together. The land produces what it produces, and you give it the respect it deserves.
Right.
And it's beautiful wine. I'm gonna steal
Amazing.
it.
It's amazing. I mean, I wish they could, do they have the ability to trace the region so they could kind of make the connections as to which of the biblical matriarchs and patriarchs?
That's what we're working on now. So you research the grapes and you discover the geography of the stories. And when you discover all the geography of the findings, you can really relate them to the stories written down in history.
I feel so connected to the character of Ruth. I want to trace the grapes that were in that place at the time of Boaz and all the way
Yeah, so let's do it, Emily.
let's do it.
Let's go
Let's
out
do
there.
it. I'm already in my mind working on I want to do a documentary on all of these people anyway, and we're right here in the heart of it. It's
Well,
what's more interesting than that?
I'm your woman. I'm gonna take you with.
Done.
Let's do it together.
Done. Let's do it. Let's toast it. L'chaim, Bezrat
L'chaim.
Hashem, Halvai, Hamsa, Hamsa, Hamsa. What are some other ones? All right. Well, thank you. And
Thank
have a
you
great
so much,
weekend.
Emily.
Have a great weekend. All